My story starts as a child. I was raised in a very poor atmosphere. We didn't even have a bathroom inside the house. We had an outhouse. My father was an alcoholic. He was extremely abusive. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and we all suffered at his hands, as well as my mom. I was 6 years old and I came home from school, and we had picture day that day. And I had on my favorite dress, and I still remember what it looks like to this day. I come walking up the driveway. We had a very long driveway. We lived way out in the country. So I'm walking up the dirt road, and I hear my dad, he's drunk again, and he's carrying on and cussing and saying, things I won't repeat. And he's mad again at one of the hunting dogs. And he was cussing her out and mad because she didn't hunt right that day. I walked up to her and I was petting her, and he told me to remove my hands off of her. And the next thing I know, he pulls out a .38 pistol. And I begged him, please don't kill her. Please don't shoot her, And for a 6-year-old to already know what killing and dying, I don't think that's really a life that a 6-year-old should know about. But I did. I knew what it was very well with my father around. So he told me to move my hand, and he didn't say it in that way. He used cuss words. Told me if I didn't move my hand, he would shoot me as well. I'm standing right next to the dog. She's actually up against me here. I've got my hand on her neck, like right here, the nape of her neck, close to her skull. And I'm crying and begging him not to do it, and he shot. And when he did, I felt something go all over me, all over my face. I looked down, there's blood, brains, skull matter. He'd shot her in the head. And so it exploded all over me. My mom runs outside. She sees me and thinks my dad had shot me, because that's how crazy my dad was. She screamed, dropped to the ground, because it shocked. It put her, I don't know how to explain it other than she just went to the ground. She passed out. He turned around and grabbed a bucket and filled it up full of water, turned the water hose on and filled it up with water and splashed it on her, dumped it on her to wake her up. My dad laughs. He said, oh gosh, his favorite thing was to call her squaw, which my mother absolutely hated him calling her that. He goes, oh squaw, what is wrong with you? And she looks at me, and I'm just standing there. I'm going, Mom, because I didn't know why she hit the ground either, because you have to understand, I still don't realize that there's all of this stuff all over me. And I was a cotton top, or what they call a cotton top, and that's where your hair is white as snow. My hair was white as snow and very fine. Naturally, having white hair and being that blonde, blood and everything in your hair is, it's not going to look too good. So then my mother grabbed me real quick. She finally calmed down and realized, because she looked over, and I still have not looked at the dog on the ground. I haven't noticed the dog on the ground. I'm in shock, and I don't even realize I'm in shock. And my mom grabs me up after she gets over her traumatic event, and the only way we could take baths was these big round metal tubs that they use for like watering cattle. That's the way my mom would heat the water up and then pour it into into the thing. So that's what she did. She went and made a bath, got me over there, got me in the bath, and started cleaning all this brain and skull and blood off of me. And I saw in the water at that point what was being cleaned off of me. Then I knew and had a more understanding of why my mom had passed out. I didn't understand at 6 years of age, oh, my mom passed out because she thought I got shot. There was another incident when I was 6 years old where he had came home and my mom said, look, I don't have the money because my dad was an alcoholic. She's trying to take care of him. He wasn't getting a job. He wasn't working. He was just, living off of my mom. And my mom working 2 and 3 jobs to support us kids and to do everything by herself and buy him liquor because if she didn't, he'd beat the crap out of her. There was an incident where my mom came home from work one day. She said, look, I'm tired. I'm not cooking for everybody. You need to send your friend home. And she was talking about this man named Raymond. So my dad grabbed a metal rake, and started hitting my mom with the points, the metal rake. And something in me just snapped. I went to my dad's truck. He had a .22 pistol in there. I grabbed it out. I pointed it at my dad, and I told him, I said, if you don't stop, I'm going to shoot you. And he looked at me, and he said, you better put that gun down. And I told him, I said, if you come closer, I'm going to shoot. You're going to quit beating my mom. You're going to quit hurting my mom, and you're going to quit hurting us. And I had a very steady hand, and it scared my dad because he saw that I wasn't shaking. I wasn't scared. Something you have to understand, I watched my dad abuse my mom, a lot. He had put me in a position where I felt like I had no alternative. So many times we're all put in a position where it comes to a point where we no longer have any choice but to do what is necessary. It's not like, I pointed a gun at my dad and said, oh, I want to shoot you. I didn't want to shoot him. I had to shoot him. Because that's the amount of abuse that we had suffered was so grotesque and so harsh that we were left with no choice. Make sure that there is someone, family, friends, that have parents that you feel comfortable and safe with, and that you've been around long enough that okay, if I tell them this, I'll be safe with this person. Always go and talk to someone that you feel absolutely sure that you're going to be safe with. My oldest daughter, she's had 5 kids now. 4 of them have been taken. 2 of them are now with the other grandmother. The 2 granddaughters, they're with the other grandmother for now. DHS stepped in. And then my 2 grandsons were put in foster care. At one time, my 2 granddaughters were being abused by foster parents. My 2 grandsons, my one grandson, the oldest, has been taken out of the foster care system, given to his dad, which isn't any better because he's abusing him. And then, of course, my other grandson, he's disabled. He's been put with foster parents that's been abusive. It's ongoing. They've done things that are bad. I'm not, I want to make this clear. I have met some foster parents that were very nice, good people. So I don't want to sit here and say, oh, every foster parent is horrible. That's not true. That's not the case, you know. But unfortunately, given all the investigations and hearing from another woman who actually, I believe it was Channel 9, I can't remember, it was 4, 5, or 9, one of them did an interview with a woman, and she said that Oklahoma has the worst foster care system out of the entire United States, that we are actually number one for the most abuse against children. Let's get a bill that protects children. They need to be protected 24/7. Don't just give these kids over to someone and say, oh, they're foster parents, and then walk away from these kids and not keep an eye on these kids and what's going on in their life.